Okay, so those of you out on YouTube, we are approaching the final paragraphs of the Ithaca section. And we will likely begin the Penelope, the ultimate section, the famous Molly in bed uh,
Mm.
monologue. But before we get there, we will do a little bit more with Ithaca. Now, we're going to start off by reading, and everybody will get a chance to read as usual. And I'm sure that we will dip into the beginning sentences of Penelope, since there are only sentences, there are no paragraphs in Penelope. And with
Mm.
that being said, we shall begin. And I am the first reader. So here we go. With what modifications did the narrator reply to this interrogation? Negative. He omitted to mention the clandestine correspondence between Martha Clifford and Henry Flower, the public altercation at, and in the vicinity of the licensed premises of Bernard Kiernan and Company, Limited, 8, 9, and 10 Little Britain Street. The erotic provocation and response thereto caused by the exhibitionism of Gertrude Gertie, surname unknown. Positive. He included mention of a performance by Mrs. Badman Palmer of Leah at the Gaiety Theater, 46, 47, 48, 49 South King Street. An invitation to supper at Wynn's, Murphy's Hotel, 36, 35, 36, and 37 Lower Abbey Street. A volume of precamionous pornographical tendency entitled Sweets of Sin. Anonymous. Author, a gentleman of fashion. A temporary concussion caused by a falsely calculated movement in the course of a post-synal gymnastic display. The victim, since completely recovered, being Stephen Dedalus, professor and author, eldest living son of Simon Dedalus, of no fixed occupation, an aeronautical feat executed by him, narrator, in the presence of a witness, the professor and author offersaying with promptitude of decision and gymnastic flexibility. Sylvia.
Was the narration otherwise unaltered by modifications? Absolutely. Which event or person emerged as the salient point of his narration? As Stephen Dedalus, professor and author. What limitations of activity and inhibitions of conjugal rights were perceived by listener and narrator concerning themselves during the course of this intermittent and increasingly more laconic narration? By the listener, a limitation of fertility in as much as marriage has been celebrated one calendar month after the 18th anniversary of her birth, 8th September 1870, viz. 8th October, and consummated on the same date, with female issue born 15th of June 1889, having been anticipatory consummated on the 10th of September of the same year, and complete carnal intercourse with ejaculation of semen within the natural female organ, having last taken place 5 weeks previous, 27th November 1893, to the birth on 29th of December 1893 of second and only male issue, deceased 9th January 1894, aged 11 days. Remained 15 days, during which carnal intercourse had been incomplete without ejaculation of skin. Joe, I think I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you. Within the natural female organ, by the narrator, a limitation of activity, mental and corporal, inasmuch as complete mental intercourse between himself and the listener had not taken place since the consummation of puberty, indicated by catamenic hemorrhage of the female issue of narrator and listener, 15th September 1903. There remained a period of 9 months and 1 day, during which, in consequence of a pre-established natural comprehension in incomprehension between the consummated females, listener and issue, complete corporal liberty of action had been circumscribed. How? By various reiterated feminine interrogation concerning the masculine destination, whither, the place where, the time at which, the duration for which, the object with which, in the case of temporary absences, projected or effected. Anne.
Okay. What moved visibly above the listener's and the narrator's invisible thoughts? The upcast reflection of a lamp and shade, an innocent series of concentric circles of varying gradations of light and shadow. In what direction did listener and narrator lie? Listener, southeast by east, narrator, northwest by west, on the 53rd parallel of latitude north and 6th meridian of longitude west, at an angle of 45 degrees to the terrestrial equator. In what state of rest or motion? At rest, relatively to themselves and to each other. In motion, being each and both carried westward, forward, and reward, respectively, by the proper perpetual motion of the earth through ever-changing tracts of never-changing space. In what posture? Listener, reclined, semi-laterally, left hand under head, right leg extended in a straight line and resting on left leg, flexed in the attitude of Gaia Tellus, fulfilled, recumbent, big with seed. Narrator, reclined laterally, left with right and left legs flexed, the index finger and thumb of the right hand resting on the bridge of the nose in an attitude depicted in a snapshot photograph made by Perry Apjohn. The child man weary, the man-child in the womb. Womb, weary, he rests, he had travelled. With Sinbad the sailor, and Tinbad the tailor, and Jinbad the jailer, and Winbad the whaler, and Ninbad the nailer, and Finbad the failer, and Binbad the baler, and Pinbad the paler, and Minbad the mailer, and Hinbad the hailer, and Rinbad the railer, and Dinbad the galer, and Vinbad the quailer, and Linbad the yaler, and Zinbad the flantailer. When going to the dark bed, there was a square round Sinbad the sailor, rock's ox egg. In the night of the bed of all the ox of the rocks of dark in bed, the bright daylight where, full stop. What do you think, Duncan? Where are you? Oh, yeah.
I think that we should have a moment pause
Full stop.
before the next before Ian.
Section. Yeah,
Oh,
Black
and
Vixen, great.
so, well, I will say, let's have a moment of silence and reflection before proceeding, and I will knock my table when it's time for Owen to begin.
Hmm. Owen might prefer something more electronic, computerized.
Right, Owen, please.
Maybe a
Am I
flag or two.
am I starting Penelope?
We're starting
Yep.
Penelope, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll just read one
Yes.
sentence. I'll just read one
Yes.
sentence. So, chapter 18, episode 18, Penelope. Yes, because he never did a thing like that before, as asked to get his breakfast in bed with a couple of eggs since the City Arms Hotel. When he used to be pretending to be laid up with a sick voice doing his highness to make himself interesting to that old faggot, Mrs. Reardon, that he thought he had a great leg of. And she never left us a farthing, all for masses for herself and her soul. Greatest miser ever, was actually afraid to lay out 4 pence for her methylated spirits, telling me all her ailments. She had too much old chat in her about politics and earthquakes and the end of the world. Let us have a bit of fun first. God help the world if all women were her sort, down on bathing suits and low necks. Of course, nobody wanted to wear them. I suppose she was pious because no man would look at her twice. I'll hope I'll never be like her. I wonder she didn't want us to cover our faces. But she was a well-educated woman, certainly, and her gabby talk about Mrs. Reardon, Mr. Reardon here and Mr. Reardon there. I suppose he was glad to get shut of her and her dog, smelling my fur and always edging to get up under my petticoat, especially then. Still, I like that in him, polite to old women like that, and waiters and beggars too. He's not proud out of nothing, but not always if ever he got anything really serious is the matter with him. It's much better for them to go into hospital where everything is clean. But I suppose I'd have to bring it into him for a month, yes, and then we'd have a hospital nurse next thing on the carpet here, have him staying there till they throw him out, or a nun maybe, like a smutty photo. He has like a smutty photo he has. I'll stop there. Next reader.
She's as much a nun as I'm not, yes, because they're so weak and puling when they're sick. They want a woman to get well. If they want a woman to get well, if his nose bleeds, you think it was oh tragic, and that dying look one off the South Circular when he sprained his foot at the choir party at the Sugarloaf Mountain the day I wore that dress. Miss Stack bringing him flowers, the worst old ones she could find at the bottom of the basket, anything at all to get into a man's bedroom with her old maid's voice, trying to imagine that he was dying on account of her to never see the face again, though he looked more like a man with his beard a bit grown in the bed. Father was the same. Besides, I hate bandaging and dosing. When he cut his toe with a razor paring his corns, afraid he'd get that blood poisoning. But if it was a thing I was sick then, we'd see what attention only, of course, the woman hides it not to give all the trouble. They do. Yes. He came somewhere, I'm sure, by his appetite. Anyway, love it's not, or he'd be off his feet thinking of her. So either it was one of those night women, if it was down there he was really, In the hotel story he made up a pack of lies to hide it, planning it. Heinz told me. Heinz kept me. Who did I meet? Ah, yes, I met. Do you remember Menton and who else? Who? Let me see that big babbly face. I saw him, and he not long married, flirting with a young girl at Pools, my Riora, and turned my back on him when he slinked out, looking quite conscious. What harm? But he had the impudence to make up to me one time. Well done to him, mouth. Almighty in his boiled eyes of all the big stupas I've ever met. And that's called solicitor. And I'm going to stop there. Jim.
Only for I hate having a long wrangle in bed, or else if it's not that, it's some little bitch or other he got in with somewhere or picked up on the sly if they only knew him as well as I do. Yes, because the day before yesterday he was scribbling something, a letter when I came into the front room for the matches to show him Dignam's dead in the paper, as if something told me, and he covered it up with the blotting paper, pretending to be thinking about business. So very probably that was it to somebody who thinks she has a lot of softy in him, because all men get a bit like that at his age, especially getting on at 40. He is now so as to wheedle any money she can out of him, no fool like an old fool, and then the usual kissing my bottom was to hide it, not that I care two straws who he does it with or knew before that way, though I'd like to find out so long as I don't have the two of them under my nose all the time, like that slut that Mary we had in Ontario Terrace padding out her false bottom to excite him. Bad enough to get the smell of those painted women off him. Once or twice I had a suspicion by getting him to come near me when I found the long hair in his coat without that one, when I went into the kitchen pretending he was drinking water. I, woman is not enough. One woman is not enough for them. It was all his fault, of course, ruining servants, then proposing that she could eat at our table on Christmas, if you please. Oh, no, thank you. Not in my house, stealing my potatoes and the oysters at 2 and 6 per dozen, going out to see her aunt, if you please. Common robbery, so it was. But I was sure he had something on with her, one that it takes me to find out a thing like that, he said. You have no proof it was her. Proof? Oh, yes, her aunt was very fond of oysters. But I told her what I thought of her, suggesting we go out to be alone with her. I wouldn't lower myself to spy on the gay garters I found in her room the Friday she was out. That was enough for me, a little bit too much. I saw too that her face swelled up on her with temper when I gave her week's notice. Better do without than altogether do out the rooms myself quicker, only for the damn cooking and throwing out the dirt. I gave it to him anyhow. Either she or me leaves the house. I couldn't even touch him if I thought he was with a dirty, barefaced liar and sloven like that, one denying it up to my face and singing about the place and the WC too, because she knew she was too well off. Yes, because he couldn't possibly do without it that long. So he must do it somewhere. And the last time he came on my bottom, when it was the night boiling, and gave my hand a great squeeze, going along by the talca in a hand, there steals another. I just press the back of it, of his, like with my thumb to squeeze back, singing the young May moon. She's beaming love because she has an idea about him. And me, he's not such a fool, he said. I'm dining out and going to the Gaiety, though I'm not going to give him the satisfaction. In any case, God knows he's changed in a way not to be always and ever wearing the same old hat, unless I paid some nice looking boy to do it, since I can't do it myself. A young boy would like me, I'd confess, I'd confuse him a little alone with him if we were. I'd let him see my garters, the new ones, and make him turn red looking at them, seduce him. I know what boys feel when that down on their cheek doing that friggin' drawn out the thing by the lower question and answer. Would you do this, that, and the other with the coalman? Yes. With a bishop? Yes, I would, because I told him about some dean or bishop was sitting beside me in the Jews' temple's gardens when I was knitting the woolen thing, a stranger to Dublin. I think I'll stop there, folks. Am I the last? Is there someone else?
Me.
Oh, Lois
Lois and Orla.
and Orla.
What place was it? And so on about the monuments. And he tired me out with statues, encouraging him, making him worse than he is. Who is in your mind now? Tell me. Who are you thinking of? Who is it? Tell me his name. Who? Tell me who. The German emperor it is. Yes, imagine I'm him. Think of him. Can you feel him trying to make a whore of me? What he never will, what he never will, he ought to give it up now at this age of his life. Simply ruination for any woman, and satisfaction and no satisfaction in it. Pretending to like it till he comes, and then finish it off myself anyway, and it makes your lips pale. Anyhow, it's done now, once for all, with all the talk of the world about it people make. It's the first time, only the first time after that. It's just the ordinary do it and think no more about it. Why can't you kiss a man without going and marrying him first? You sometimes love too wildly when you feel that way. So nice all over. You can't help yourself. I wish some man or other would take me sometime when he's there and kiss me in his arms. There's nothing like a kiss long and hot, down to your soul, almost paralyzes you. Then I hate that confession when I used to go to Father Corrigan. He touched me, Father. What harm have you did? Where? And I said, on the canal bank, like a fool. But whereabouts? On your person, my child. On the leg, behind, high up. Was it? Yes, rather high up. Was it where you sit down? Yes. Oh, Lord, couldn't he say bottom right out and have done with it? What has that got to do with it? And did you, whatever way he put it, I forget. No, Father. And I always think of the real Father. What did he want to know for when I already confessed it to God? He had a nice fat hand, the palm moist always. I wouldn't mind feeling it, neither would he, I'd say. By the bull neck of his horse collar. I wonder, did he know me in the box? I could see his face. He couldn't see mine, of course. He never turned or let on. Still, his eyes were red when his father died. They're lost for a woman, of course. Must be terrible when a man cries, let alone them. I'd like to be embraced by one in his vestments and the smell of incense off him, like the Pope. Besides, there's no danger with the priest. If you're married, he's too careful about himself. Then give something to H.H. the Pope for a penance. I wonder, was he satisfied with me? One thing I didn't like is slapping me behind, going away, so familiarly in the hall. Though I laughed, I'm not a horse or an ass, am I? I suppose he was thinking of his father's. I wonder, is he awake, thinking of me, or dreaming? Am I in it? Who gave him that flower he said he bought? He smelt of some kind of drink, not whiskey or stout, or perhaps the sweety kind of paste they stick up. They stick their bills up with some liquor. I'd like to sip those rich-looking green and yellow, expensive drinks, those stage door Johnnies drink with the opera hats. I tasted once with my finger dipped out of that American that had the squirrel talking stamps with her father. He had all he could do to keep himself from falling asleep after the last time, after we took the port and potted meat. It had a fine, salty taste. Yes, because I felt lovely and tired myself. I fell asleep as sound as a top the moment I popped straight into the bed. Next, please.
Till that thunder woke me up as if the world was coming straight into bed. No, wait a minute, straight coming to an end. God be merciful to us. I thought the heaven coming to us punish when I blessed myself and said, Hail Mary, those awful thunderbolts in Gibraltar, and they come and tell you there's no God. Nothing only men that contrition. The candle I lit that evening in Whitefriars Street Chapel for the month of May, see, it brought its luck, though he'd scoff if he heard, because he never goes to church, mass, or meeting. He says your soul, you have no soul, inside only grey matter, because he doesn't know what it is to have one. Yes, when I lit the lamp, yes, because he must have come 3 or 4 times with that tremendous big red brute of a thing he has. I thought the vein, or whatever the dickens they call it, was going to burst, though his nose is not so big. After I took off all my things with the blinds down, after my hours dressing and perfuming and combing it like iron or some kind of a thick crowbar, standing all the time, he must have eaten oysters, I think, a few dozen. He was in a great singing voice. No, I never in all my life felt anyone had one the size of that to make you feel full up. You must have eaten a whole sheep. After, what's the idea making us like that with a big hole in the middle of us, like a stallion driving it up into you, because that's all they want out of you, with that determined, vicious look in his eye. I had to half shut my eyes. Still, he hasn't such a tremendous amount of spunk in him when I made him pull it out and do it on me, considering how big it is. So much the better. In any case, any of it wasn't washed out properly the last time. I let him finish it in me. Nice invention they made for women, for him to get at all the pleasure. But if someone gave them a touch of it themselves, they'd know what I went through with Millie. Nobody would believe cutting her teeth too, with Mina Purefoy's husband giving us a swing out of your whiskers, filling her up with a child or twins once a year, as regular as the clock, always with the smell of children off her. The one they call budgers or something, like a nigger with a shock of hair on it. Jesus, Jack, the child is a black the last time I was there. A squad of them falling over one another and bawling. You couldn't hear your ears. Supposed to be healthy, not satisfied till they have us swollen out like elephants, or I don't know. But supposing I risked having another, not off him though. Still, if he was married, I'm sure he'd have a fine, strong child. Duncan.
Orla. Okay. So that's the end of the reading part today. And we shall proceed to go back to where we started and see if we have anything to say about it.
Yeah. Definitely. It's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I know. We have to do a little bit beforehand.
Quite a long chapter, that Ithaca, isn't it?
Quite a long chapter? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as I insist, and I could be wrong, but I think, once again, Bloom is in no hurry. Bloom has got to adjust himself and to really think about a lot of things before he goes upstairs. But I think that it's good that we read the first part of Penelope before finishing Ithaca, because you really, I mean, it's almost like it would be worthwhile sometime to read Penelope and then go back and read Ithaca.
Huh.
Because everybody, I don't know about the rest of you, but we get all weepy that, that Molly has betrayed him. But it becomes pretty clear I think, in the beginning pages of Penelope that he has put her in a very difficult situation. So it seems to me.
Just a mention from Ithaca, it mentions Wynn's Hotel. That's still there, and
Yes.
a nice place actually to stop into for a drink. And the other place that's mentioned, the Gaiety is still there.
The Gaiety Theater.
Yeah, it's still there. I've been there many times. It's still an operating theater. And Barney Kiernan's, it's still there, but it's closed up. It's not, you can't go into it. It was for sale about 5 years ago. I don't know whatever happened to it after that.
Sweeney do the Dead Dinner. It's called the Dead Dinner on 6th of January at Wynn's Hotel.
Yeah.
So if any of you are in Dublin for the new year, go to it. Joe, you're smiling, but you're not saying anything.
He knows too much.
Exactly.
I know nothing.
I'm remembering dead dinners that have passed. That's all. That's why I'm smiling.
And Orla, you have to, how do you go about getting your name on the table, so to speak?
Text, email Sweeney.
Sweeney's.
Email
Okay.
Sweeney Pharmacy and ask to be put on the list for the dinner.
Okay.
They're always looking for people to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would
And you
have
can
thought it would
put
have been sold out years in advance.
No.
I don't think so. I think that last year there were still spaces available.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can put a tickler alarm on your digital calendar to
Check
you
it
know,
out.
around Christmas time that you need to get in touch and look at what's going on.
Yeah.
And where is Wynn's Hotel located these days?
City Centre.
Yeah. O'Connell Street somewhere?
Abbey
Street.
Abbey Street.
O'Connell Street corner of Abbey Street.
Yeah.
It doesn't come more central, really. It used to be a great place for priests. I don't
Can
know
you still stay there, Joe?
Oh yeah. Yeah. But that's where, I remember as a teenager, you go in there, it'd be full of priests sitting at table, eating, priests in the bar drinking. But why?
And were they going upstairs as well, Joe?
They were staying in it. They're passing through Dublin. It seems to be the hotel that was used. I don't know whether a Roman Catholic owned it or something. I never inquired into it, except I didn't want to be there. No, really, I get enough of that stuff at school. Priests watching you, you know.
Joe, were they real priests?
Oh yeah, real priests. But I doubt if there's enough priests to fill it now. You know, I just assume. But I imagine they had the contract with the Archbishop or something. You know, I don't know. But that was the thing. Like, you certainly wouldn't go there on a first date. You know, just coming up telling you to hear your confession, you know.
Okay.
You're assuming that they're not up to anything illicit. I wouldn't be so sure.
That doesn't mean they don't practice their profession. You know, in fact, they're the very ones that'll be down on you for it.
But
before we go any further, I said the N word and about.
Oh my God!
And I said that because in the context of the book, it's what she said.
Yeah.
No. They should have had a sensitivity alert before tonight's reading.
But
this is what they want now. You know, the sensitivity alerts.
But my biggest regret is that Brandon, I think his name's Brandon Kilty. He owned the actual house in Usher's Key, you know.
Terrible.
And he invited me to the dead dinner, and I actually couldn't go
Oh, there you go.
because I had pneumonia. I couldn't get out of the bed. And
Oh.
it's quite damp, that house.
Mhm.
And I would have been completely dead.
Yeah, you would have been in the spirit of the thing.
I know, but it's my biggest then he lost the house after that, and I haven't been in touch with him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think he's still around. I don't know if he goes in. Is he going to Sweeney's, Orla? Brendan?
Don't know. I just met him, I met him. He was trying to do something else, and I met him and had correspondence with him.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
He's the guy. He saved Sweeney's. He saved
did he?
Sweeney's and the House of the Dead. Yeah, yeah.
And
And
then
at a time, he held the lease in both. Now the leases were short in Sweeney's, but and he kind of couldn't manage both, so he picked a few people as friends to watch over Sweeney's for him, and he concentrated on the house there. But he went bankrupt. He was a barrister. I presume it's
yeah.
an November barrister for being bankrupt, but the
No,
house bankrupted him because I mean the house there is a shooting gallery. You know what I mean by a shooting gallery for guys shooting up with drugs. Yeah. And guys overnighting there and all this kind of stuff and drugs being sold. And so when he got that all cleaned out. And he may have put a new roof on it. I'm not sure about that, but he certainly put a lot of money into it and borrowed to do it as well.
he overextended.
And yeah, but he was turning it into a tourist. Like I attended readings in the House of the Dead. We used to go there from Sweeney's and read the Dead. When we came to read the Dead, we'd read it in the House of the Dead. And there were actors performing the Dead there, amateur actors, and they were very good.
It sounds like
yeah.
his ideas were really, really good as against financial. They weren't financial at all, at all, at all.
Oh, well,
They were admirable.
oh no, they were not financial. That's for sure. Yeah,
No.
he was an enthusiast, but his like people from UCD, the literature English lit department used to go there because the whole place had to be cleaned, and the professor out there, I remember telling me that they took out syringes and that type of kit by the black sack full. To put into skips in the front. He said there were hundreds of sacks of syringes to be cleaned out. But anyway, he got it, and he got the place nicely done up. And then the foundations turned out to be a problem. And my understanding, and I'm only going what I heard rather than what I know, but that he had to put foundations in to stop it collapsing. And that meant it's very hard to put foundations into a house. It's very expensive to put foundations into this building. And that's the expense that's where the bank lost their patience. And it had to be sold. And at the moment, it's not quite a shooting gallery, but I stood outside it during the start of the summer, and it's in occupation.
I said,
Yeah, and it seems to be for the benefit of society, we have taken over this building type notices in the window, But it is gone up for planning permission to be turned into a hostel and so on. But it's lost. It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Plus the river.
What address was it addressed to?
Oh, I can't remember.
It's Usher's Key. It's
still there.
Yeah, as you're coming into Dublin from the train station, Ormond Quay and Usher's Quay. I walked it the last time I was up there.
And it's nearer to Euston, than
near Houston. Well, if you walk in towards town, you could be on your right hand side.
Okay.
Ushers, it says here Ushers Island, 15 Ushers Island. Technically, I think that's an island, isn't it? Well, it was an island.
It used to be an island, yeah. But across the river, we had, back in the day, and this is not that long ago, say 2012, we had the Ormond Hotel across the quay. That's gone. That's been demolished. Now the House of the Dead is effectively gone. And we're very lucky Sweeney's didn't go, only for Brendan. Sweeney's was gone. Sweeney's was going to be a porch, an entrance. It's going to be demolished to build an entrance to the next door
Okay.
hotel.
Good.
Brendan saved it from that. So those three
Wow.
buildings, you know, if we were depending on the people who run Dublin to have saved them, we'd have lost all three.
It would be like Woodkey and
15
Sam
meters.
Stevens bunkers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would.
Anyway, that's a long way from Wynn's Hotel, though. You know,
But
Wynn's
speaking of
Hotel,
Wynn's
there's a few more bridges
Hotel,
down.
my recollection of Wynn's Hotel, there's an arch beside Wynn's
That's
Hotel.
right.
And I think 'tis the brave man or woman that would walk down that at night time. There's a lot of shooting going on up,
Oh,
shooting up going on there as well.
I know that arch very well because at one stage in the firm I worked for, they were short of office space and they took the office over that arch. And guess who was sent there? Me. So I used to have to come out there at night.
Oh, nice one,
I
Joe.
was there for 3 months while we were waiting for our new offices. The only thing is, nobody disturbed you. You couldn't be there to sleep all day because everyone was afraid to come in.
Opposite the, as far as I remember, opposite Wynn's is the Parnell Mooney.
That's
And
it.
the original is closed down, but there's a version of it opened up again on the same spot. Am I right there, Joe?
Yeah, it's as good as the same spot. I think it's a doorway,
Oh,
but
is
the window of the ship was the name of the pub, and the window looks like the window of an ancient sailing ship, and the window is still there. I'm just not sure
Joe,
where they.
I don't know. The ship is the next street over.
No,
No.
over O'Connell Street.
If you look out the front door of Wynn's, across the street is the Parnell Mooney. But in, say, a
Yeah.
parallel street is the ship.
In the parallel street. No,
Oh,
the ship and the Mooney are beside one another.
Are they?
I think
Okay.
there are three doors. I think there's one building between them. That's the whole point of Stephen. Stephen is to meet the
Yeah,
lads.
I was just going to say it because he sent a telegram to the ship,
Right.
but he
Okay.
was only like a door or two down
He's in the
from
Mooney.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. I missed
Yeah.
that.
Mooney on Veal, not to be confused with Mooney on Sea,
Yeah.
which is a few hundred yards away. Well,
So he
beside
was
that
in.
arch.
Tell me that again. When he sent the.
When Stephen sent a telegram to the ship to
Yeah.
Buckmulligan, he went only two doors down. Is it, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, with
He could
all
have
the
stuck his
people,
head out the window and
with all the
shouted to
people
them.
in Aeolus. He actually was just two
Yeah.
doors down from them.
Yeah, it would be much quicker
Okay.
to stuck his head in the door and shouted at them.
Yeah.
But he sent them the telegram.
I'm just being very stupid here because I got telegrams over the years. How did you get a telegram? You phoned up the telephone exchange. Does anybody?
No, you went to the post office and you dictated their message and they cut it down to the minimum amount of words because you paid by the letter.
Right. Paid by the letter?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that's right. That's why they would.
And,
That was the
ABs.
original shortening of words.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which, okay, so I'll tie that in with what we were talking about before about the code. That would also if people had a lot of experience with telegrams, they
Yeah.
were used to representing words with just letters.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just a minor aside there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the most famous one, probably the one that Joyce sent to his father after the son was born, son born, Jim. You know, 3 words. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I have it here on Google Maps now.
Yeah.
Right now, the ship and Moonies are right next door to each other. As Joe said,
Ah,
they may
okay.
have been separated by. So
Yeah.
I'm wrong on that one.
And
Are
then
they
the-
on and are they on Abbey Street,
Yes.
Owen?
Yes.
They're on. Yes, right. Yeah, Abbey Street. Yeah. And
Oh,
as Joe said, the ship is you can make it out as by the windows
Yeah.
at the back, reminiscent of the windows that may have been at the back of those galleons years ago.
Yeah. But
Okay.
the place they're calling the ship is not it's a door wrong, or it certainly was a door wrong. I don't know if they have now moved back into the right one.
The place they're calling Moonies, is it, Joe?
I can't remember what they called it, but yeah, but they used to say this is the place from Ulysses, and it really wasn't. It was very like it, and it had the same name. I think they called it Moonies. But
Yeah. There's
well, anyway, it's not really anything to do with this thing we're reading. We're sort of wandered off.
But that wouldn't be a new thing for us.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, true. Is that
We're
because we don't
taking
understand
the flaneur approach to reading
The,
Ulysses.
the joy of the rabbit hole.
Mm,
I just want to
gosh,
say
yeah.
that I'm for using the N word instead of the total word. But that's neither here nor there. Just in case I'm ever going up for election for presidency, I have that one covered.
Yeah.
Well, do you know anyone £3,500 euros?
Once you
No,
pay your
no.
bills.
Yeah.
But what would you do if you had just one black person in the group? If you're in Swinny's, if you're taking a reading in Swinny's and there's one black gentleman who's come who's possibly never read Ulysses.
I've been in that situation, so
What do you do? Like
you use the word.
Yeah, it's hard to know. Like
There is a little bit of a, I mean, in the particular case I'm talking about, it was just read straight.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
there was I would say there was a ripple of emotion in the reading. But
Hello.
it was not the end of the
Hi.
world by any means. Hello there.
Hi.
This is Eleanor.
How are
Oh,
you? How are you?
Good.
Some of you remember her
Oh.
from the very beginning of the readings
yes.
5 years ago.
I was going to ask you
Yes.
how she's
I
doing.
remember exactly.
I
Yeah.
met you in Cork. Hi.
Hi.
It's going to be
Hi.
a reader. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, Eleanor.
So,
Bye.
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 Thanks for visiting.
Oh, thank you. That was lovely. I've been thinking,
Oh,
I've
she's
been
doing
wondering about her.
gorgeous on.
Do you
Yeah.
remember her,
But
Katrina, from the beginning?
Yes.
Yes.
She's just a little baby, a bald baby, in her christening.
yeah, I remember that as well, Katrina.
Wow.
Used to be babysitting when your wife was nursing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now we really do digress, don't we?
Yeah, we go back a long time.
Going back to the N word, if I know the person, like it was a pal of mine, I will use the N word. But if it's a stranger, I've been known to beep, just beep and keep going.
Okay.
But you don't want to give offense and then have to say, well, look, I'm a purist, and the odds are you get no chance to explain your thinking. You've
Hmm.
upset someone unnecessarily.
No, I won't
I
use
was
the word.
walking around
Well-
Cleary's with my headphones on, listening to popular music. I won't say of the American rap variety. It was very loud. And there were lots of N words and C words and all sorts of words that were used. And if you listen to that sort of music, you don't notice. But all the people at the counters were horrified. I wondered what sort of person was walking around listening to that sort of music.
Mm-hmm.
Know what their kids are listening to, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, here we brought up a topic here, but then we get into the thing of what about if there's a very religious Catholic person in the room
Yeah.
and you were reading a blasphemous part
Yeah.
from Ulysses? Are you supposed to change it?
No.
Or No, well, but yeah, and you know, there's lots of possibilities in here. Some of the things that are said about women, some of the
Right.
language that is used. I mean, what about,
Mm.
Molly is pretty
Oh, yeah.
graphic.
But we
And
can't rewrite it.
I know people that some of those sentences would put them in shock.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But are they likely to be part of a group reading Ulysses?
It can happen.
No, exactly, Lois.
No, but well, I can see a confirmed Catholic person being part of a group reading
Yeah,
Ulysses.
yeah. Like you get it on Bloomsday, people who are just, they're
Yeah,
just there. And the other one is, what do you do if you're coming to some of this stuff and you have, as happened in Sweeney's, not all the time, but from time to time, you might have an 8-year-old girl, and you're into all this kind of talk, Penelope's talk. What do you do?
I'd
Uh,
probably just read it faster with a little bit of obscurity.
I would have thrown out the little girl and whoever brought her.
yeah,
Lois.
yeah,
Mm.
but you see, that's the thing. Uh, and someone's here on their holidays and they've 2 kids with them. Are you just going to say to them, would you mind leaving?
Well, it's quite possible a lot of that might go over their heads.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
possible.
I mean, when
Yeah,
you're 8 years of age, you're not really listening to adults' conversations. You're
yeah,
there, but you're kind of bored, and I
yeah.
think anyway.
And you're going home on the bus and the kids start shouting this stuff to one another. You know,
but
I mean, I saw people getting very upset in there with that, over children.
uh,
And I remember one occasion there was a guy and he was really doing this with feeling, and he didn't realize there were 2 kids because he couldn't see them with the books on the counter, and everyone was trying to signal him to cool it, you know. Uh, and
Well, maybe coming into health, Sweeney's should come with a health warning. So,
sensitivity notice on the door.
absolutely, be
I mean,
prepared to be offended.
I don't agree with the sensitivity notice, as you can probably guess. But that's what there's been a big split over sensitivity alerts. But 2 or 3 years ago, was it now? And in Trieste, the annual Trieste event, the Dublin, they leave with the Swallows, they fly to Trieste after Bloom's Week, and they do the same thing in Trieste. And then there was the sensitivity alert. Was it Glasgow University wanted sensitivity alerts on Ulysses?
yeah.
Mhm.
The very first part that we started reading today, though,
Yeah.
shows Leopold Bloom modifying his facts
Oh yeah.
to fit his audience, namely Molly.
Yes.
Okay. So, so this is the same thing. You just have to decide whether you modify or don't modify. But this is what he's doing. He leaves out some stuff,
Yeah.
lying by omission.
Yeah.
And he introduces some facts that didn't happen, lying by commission. And it's all to make his story fit with how he wants Molly to think about his day.
Well,
Yeah.
there's 3 sides to every story. There's your side, my side,
The
and what
truth.
really happened.
And the problem is that what really happened is always subject to interpretation.
Which leads me into Dante Reardon talking about Mr. Reardon.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a Mr. Reardon, was there? In Molly, in the first page there, Penelope.
There had
Yeah,
No,
been.
there was
there
no
was,
Mr.
yeah. Mrs. Reardon, we had this discussion a few
Had
weeks
it
ago.
before,
You might
yeah.
have been on a flight. She was nearly a nun, and then her brother died, and he left her money, and Mr. Reardon
Yeah.
married her. Wasn't that the one we were doing, Joe? Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then he left with most of the money, and that's why she's bitter and the way
Yeah.
she is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what actually really happened to her.
Okay. I seem to be wrong quite a bit on my commentary here.
No, you're not.
You're all right. You're all right.
Is she Dante?
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
In
Where are we? Oh yeah, Sylvia. Yeah, Dante is Mrs.
Yeah,
Reardon.
Dante. Mm-hmm.
the Christmas
Mm.
dinner? Is she the same woman in the Christmas dinner?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
I think. But where did we decide he ended up? Was it South America or
Buenos
Can't
Aires, it
Buenos
said
Aires? Yeah,
in slow.
very nice choice. The most beautiful place I've ever visited.
Is it?
Is it?
And
Oh my God, absolutely. We like when we were on our holidays in summer. Rio was magnificent, but Buenos Aires was absolutely
Oh,
stunning.
Buenos
From the
Aires.
minute you came out of the airport, buildings, statues,
yeah.
Mhm.
there wasn't a paper on the ground.
Mm.
The parks, oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So he picked a good place.
I
Hmm.
love. Yeah. Do you
Definitely
know that?
worth a visit.
I know two people, and their grandfathers disappeared and went to South, to Buenos
Oh,
Aires, and
South America, yeah.
never heard of again.
Yeah.
Few
Amazing.
people have been there to try
Mm.
and see if they could locate anybody.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were they part of the Odessa files, Sylvia?
Yeah, were they Nazis?
Oh, no, they weren't. No, they weren't. No.
But it was a lot easier to disappear back in
But that
1904.
used to happen quite a lot long ago, didn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I do remember because I grew up in a small village, which isn't a small village anymore, Ballincollig.
Yeah.
But I do remember a few people, like as a child, knowing, because it was obviously all secret, that the husbands, but they'd only probably gone to England
Well,
somewhere.
they could
And
go to
both, in the two cases I can remember, they did come back in
yeah.
really later years when the children would have been grown up.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
nobody had heard of them. And
Yeah.
it was one of these things you never talked about.
It was very
Mhm.
easy for a man.
Yeah,
But a lot of men did it if a marriage wasn't working. They would just go to London, and,
yeah.
like no customs, no passport
Mm.
control, even
Mhm.
in the 1950s.
Yeah, there was nothing.
And like when you arrive in London, you're just Paddy to people. No matter what your name is, they call you Paddy once they know you're Irish, and you can just disappear, become another person altogether. And,
Yeah.
just keep your head down. Don't.
You set
Mhm.
yourself up with a new set of credentials.
Oh yeah, you could, and you
Well,
could
you could
change
do
your
that
name.
too.
I
Yeah,
had I had two jobs. One was I cleaned the royal court early in the morning, um, and we used to go to the bank, a bank in Sloane Square, and
yeah,
you'd go in there and they'd give you your money.
yeah,
You didn't need a bank account. They just
yeah. Cash
Yeah,
economy,
there was a
and
lot of people who didn't have a bank account.
a lot of Irish people
Just like Bertie.
a lot of Irish people
Yeah,
had
exactly. What I was thinking, Jim.
had British social security numbers.
Ah,
So well, you could exist in the government system and contribute to pension, and a lot of Irish men had English pensions coming. Think of people who before independence. So it was very easy to just slide away and disappear from, like Mr. Reardon.
yeah.
Mhm.
Right, right,
The hard
But
right.
part
back
is
to
getting people to find.
Argentina, there's 1.5 million people at least
Yeah,
of Irish descent in
right.
Argentina. And the thing was, they offered land from the 1850s to
Yeah,
people who, it was something for farmers. They wanted farmers to go out there, and
right.
they gave them land in Argentina. And
Yeah,
there's a big Irish American, no, they're not Irish American, Irish Argentinian
that's right.
Yeah.
community
Yeah,
Mm.
who were all Hispanic.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's it.
Well, they wanted Europeans. They wanted to end, like in most cases, they had lots of quote empty land. Of course, it wasn't empty land.
Yeah, that's it gave them land.
They wanted to replace the original natives with Europeans.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, basically, the magic word is white.
Yeah.
So
Civilized.
back then. Anyone want to have a go at the aorist praetorite preposition parsed as masculine subject monosyllabic onomatopoeic transitive verb with direct feminine object?
Where's this one, Joe? Where are you talking about?
That would be
Which chapter?
It's Ithaca. It's the
Oh,
it's
hi.
637, and in the other one it's line 2218 in what's his name?
637.
Gabler.
Are you
Gabler.
talking about page 637?
637. And there's a paragraph, the first real paragraph down that page. By what reflections did he, a conscious reactor?
Oh, okay. Conscious reactor. That's
and
the
then
void
you get
insertion.
6 lines down. The natural grammatical transition by inversion involving no alteration of sense as an aorist praetorite preposition. Anyone want to read, Katrina? Do you want to read Sloat?
Will
I'm
somebody
lost.
read out the paragraph first of all fully, and then we could.
Yeah, I
Well,
think that's a good idea.
I would suggest we just read the sentence because we will be here the rest of the night reading the paragraph.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
good.
Start.
I've already read the most of it, but go ahead, you do.
I'm lost. I don't know where we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, so we
I'm,
need
with-
to
I'm
take
with
it
you,
slowly.
Katrina. I'm last too.
Yeah, so take it slowly. Where do we start, Joe? And it's nice and slowly.
Your eye will fall on by what reflections did he, a conscious reactor? That's the paragraph.
By what
reflections did he?
Oh,
Okay.
we're further back. We're further back
A
than
conscious reactor against the void incertitude justified himself his sentiments.
Oh,
in,
yes.
in
That
Gabler,
was-
it's the top of page 604.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so
Hit
I'll read some of it anyway, just to get started, okay? By what reflections did he, a conscious reactor, against the void of incertitude, justify to himself his sentiments? The preordained frangibility of the hymen, the presupposed intangibility of the thing in itself, the incorrigibility, incongruity, and disproportion between the self-prolonging tension of the thing proposed to be done and the self-abbreviating relaxation of the thing done.
Excuse me.
The fallaciously inferred debility of the female, the masculinity of the male, the variations of ethical codes, the natural
This is the bit I'm focusing in on. This
Okay.
part.
Do you want to read this part, Joe?
No, you've had a lot of my voice. You're doing great.
Does somebody else want to read this part of it?
I'll give it a shot. So the natural grammatical transition by inversion involving no alteration of sense of an arst pretitate proposition parsed as masculine subject, monosyllabic, onomatopoeic, transitive verb with direct feminine object. From the active voice into its correlative, aortist, preterite proposition, parsed as feminine subject, auxiliary verb, and quasi-monosyllabic, onomatopoeic, past participle with a complementary masculine agent in the passive voice. The
That's
continued product of...
That's it. Does anyone want to read Sloat?
Okay. Let me get slow.
Well, I'm totally lost there.
Well, that's okay. That's the whole point.
What line is that in slow?
Hold on. Let me finish it. In the passive voice, the continued product of seminators by generation, the continuing production of semen by distillation, the futility of triumph or protest or vindication, the inanity of extolled virtue, the lethargy of nascent matter, the apathy of the stars.
But it was just the parts that I singled out.
Yeah.
What is he
What
talking
line
about?
is that in Gabler?
2218 to 2223.
218.
And it's on page 1247 of Sloat. If there are no volunteers, I'll read it.
I'll read it. I'll
Go
read
on.
it.
Hi, Christina, great.
Good going.
Aorist, one of the past tenses in ancient Greek with none of the limitations as to completion, continuance, etc., which belong to the other past tenses. Preterite, expressing past action or a past state, both OED. Presumably, the two propositions are he fucked her, masculine subject, and direct feminine object, and she was fucked by him, feminine subject and complementary masculine agent. Quasi-monosyllabic, this suggests that the second fucked is pronounced as almost having two syllables, fucked, perhaps in imitation of Molly's pronunciation.
There you go.
Mr. Joyce gets the F word into Ulysses.
Mm.
Well, how does that
I'm
work?
sure
I
it
can't
is.
see that.
He buries it in grammatical explanations.
Yeah.
Brain impression.
So it's the second time he gets it. The other time yeah, that doesn't matter.
There's still big on in
317.
direct feminine object.
417.
He's talking about the grammatical flexibility of the F word.
Mhm.
God.
You'll have to help me out here more, Joe.
Yeah.
Than that. I'm not getting any of this at all. It doesn't
Me
make.
either.
Well, because it's very complicated, because basically it's Leopold Bloom trying to cover up his raw emotions with a flood of detail.
Yeah.
But give me something to hang on to. Anything. Night, Elmer.
What is it you're not getting, Owen?
Say night to the guys.
Night night.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Now,
Oh
on,
yes,
Elmer.
this is a good example where we have to
Yeah.
monitor ourselves so as not to prematurely.
Okay, well, the natural grammatical transition. Okay, so I can understand talking of language, grammar will transition naturally by inversion backwards, involving no alteration, not being of sense
in the
of
past
the
tense. Yeah.
of the aorist. What does that word mean?
That's
Aorist.
the past tense. Just say past instead of aorist.
Of the
Aorist is
past.
a type of Greek past. It's just past tense. In other words,
Past.
fuck is
Yeah,
past tense. You see?
Yeah. So, and preterite.
That's also past.
Preposition. Okay. Parsed as masculine subject. Okay. A man.
He.
Monosyllabic.
It's a preposition.
Onomatic.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
Yeah, the verb has sound. Fuck is the verb, and it's monosyllabic. It's only one syllable, and it sounds like it's a very expressive sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
with direct female object. So that's the line there. Past as masculine subject. I get that. A man.
Yeah.
A single verb, a single monosyllabic verb, but that could be lots of verbs. Sounds like a transitive verb. What's transitive?
An
action that moves to some other object. So in this case, it goes from the male. It's a male verb, female. That's
okay, I get that. It transitions then so the male transitions with the female object.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I can kind of get
Boylan
that. Right?
to Molly.
Yeah.
From
Boylan.
Molly.
Boylan to Molly.
Oh, not
you
from
take
Bloom
out the
to Molly.
he and you put in Blazes Boylan.
Yeah.
And you put Molly as the object. of the action expressed in the verb, it comes out in plain language as Boylan fucked Molly. Do I have that right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
But there you go. But I mean, this is how you get by the censor. Imagine the censor trying to figure this out.
Never going to happen. Too much work.
Never going to happen. Yeah. So, but there you go.
But Bloom is also Bloom is doing this to himself as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
He's
That's his
he's
dollar.
distancing himself by putting it in this grammatical language.
Yeah, he's thinking of the grammar rather than the meaning.
Yeah, because it's a way to drain the angry energy
Yeah,
into something less threatening to him.
yeah,
Yeah, he's distancing himself from it.
He's distancing himself.
He's not making it a physical thing where he should be and Boylan is.
So at the top of that answer, it says the preordained frangibility of the hymen. Frangibility, as I would remember, is it can transfer its attributes, as in like a dollar is worth a dollar in Kansas and in New York. So that means that's frangible as far as I know. The preordained frangibility of the hymen. So we're down towards the female hymen, which must tie into this.
Yeah, I've actually got to go look up frangibility.
Isn't fungibility the word you're thinking of?
yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, frangible means that it gives way under pressure, right?
Yeah, it's fragile. I understood it to be fragility.
Oh,
yeah, it's a type of.
Yeah, you're right, Lewis. I've got it wrong again. Yeah, I get lots of things wrong here. But anyway.
Well, that's the beauty of this book. That's
Yeah.
why I insist that this book is a training manual,
Mhm.
where it is taking it is showing us how our minds
Mhm.
work.
So,
including the types of mistakes. So,
Yeah.
this is Joyce's aim, in my humble opinion, is he wants to teach us curiosity and humility.
Yeah.
so the preordained frangibility of the hymen. So the hymen can be pierced and broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quality of being easily damaged or destroyed.
But Molly wasn't a virgin, was she, when he met her?
Well, but this was an actual social problem, and the problem was that young girls could actually break their hymens without having sex.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that would be a real problem in a society that prized virginity up until the time of marriage. So so let's say there's a girl and she does something, play sports or whatever, and her hymen is broken, and then she gets married, and the husband is convinced he's married a virgin, and she is a virgin, but she doesn't have the one criteria that the guy would know, which is that she has a hymen.
Yeah.
So this was a serious problem. And they're actually, to show how it goes, I don't know if there was at that time, but at this time, there actually is a medical procedure where hymens are restored
Right.
to solve this problem in societies that are still, demanding that women be virgins when they're married. So I don't know.
And then you come across I had a girlfriend a long time ago who had this theory that if you hadn't had a boyfriend for 2 years, your hymen self-restored. That
There
she
you go.
became spiritually a virgin again. How she explained her otherwise colorful life.
Hence the expression born again virgin.
Born again.
Born again virgin.
Maybe she was right.
We're into the territory of the Immaculate Conception here.
Oh, we are. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't get me started on the
There
Immaculate
we go.
Conception. It has nothing to do with virginity.
That's it.
It's the Immaculate
All right,
Conception.
we're warned. You've warned us, Lois.
We're into
Don't
virgin
get me
birth.
started.
You should be.
Mary was the only human being who was born without original sin on her soul.
That's
She
it.
was conceived as an immaculate person. No sin on her soul. That's the Immaculate Conception. It has nothing to do with the birth of Jesus.
The
Whether she
virgin
had
That's
nothing
right,
to do with
Lois,
whether she
that's
had a
right.
hymen or not. Okay. Well, listen, I'm gonna hijack things just for a
Okay.
second.
Right.
Forgive me. We can go back if we finish this topic. What is the date today?
October 9th.
9.
All right. And on page 639 in Wordsworth, what does he say happened on October 8th?
Ooh, my God.
Rudy was born. Was Rudy born or conceived?
No, it's sex.
This is Millie.
Yes,
it's Millie,
with Molly.
No,
With Molly.
it's Molly.
Molly was born on the 8th of September 1870, and they had sex on the 8th of October 1888.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
Millie was born on the 15th of June 1889.
So,
I was
Right.
reading this today.
18th anniversary for birth, 1870, 1889. She's
So
18.
so they were married on the 8th of October, and apparently Millie was conceived the night of their marriage.
Night of the marriage, apparently, yes.
Hop in there. I think she was
Oh,
conceived
yeah,
a bit.
because, this takes me back to midwifery days where you had where you had the last date of period and then you plus 7. And then
Mhm.
Yeah.
so he had it all. He had it all.
Mm.
I want to go back to what you were talking about, the whole thing about
Thanks.
what Boylan did to Molly and the passivity of it. But the ending, I think the last, after the colon, it's the futility of triumph or protest or vindication. And I think that's Bloom.
Yeah.
Bloom, how does he feel after it? The inanity of extolled virtue. It's like there's no point him getting on a high horse. And then he says the lethargy of nescient matter, the apathy of the stars. It's like nothing's going to change this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the same thing that he's in a sense doing with all the grammatical stuff. He's rising above it.
Mhm.
He can and this is it's actually an excellent technique for handling all kinds of emotional issues is to rise above it literally by expanding one's
Mhm.
universe when contemplating a
Mhm.
particular event.
Yep.
And so this is what Bloom is doing. I mean, he is faced up with it. We know he knows that he's having a real difficult time facing the fact that Boylan and Molly had sex.
Yeah.
Although, as we learn in the early pages of Penelope, Bloom has kind of, in a sense, set this trap up for himself.
Yeah.
So, so that's why Ithaca is so long, is because he's on the premises, but he wants to make a lot of space and time and thought between coming home and going up and getting into bed with Molly. Because he's wrestling with these tidal waves of emotion. I mean,
Is this thing that I've never seen before? Boylan fucked Molly. Is this a well-known sort of secret passage in Ulysses, because I've never seen it before.
No.
You talk about the aorist preterite.
Yeah. Is this well known as a, because I've never, like everyone knows ineluctable modality of the visible, okay?
Yeah.
Anyone who reads Ulysses knows that, okay? But this, and I have read it a few times, I've never come across this before.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you're reading Ulysses. I'm all the time coming across stuff I haven't even noticed.
Yeah, I certainly did not notice. I did not know this before this afternoon.
Yeah,
Mm.
I don't know
Okay.
what I did with those words the other probably 4 or 5 times I've read it because they were in the book.
yeah, yeah.
But you know, there's so much in the book that it's, you know, and we have this habit of we got to get the book completed.
Mm.
I get the book read. This is a long book. Let's read. That
That was the problem with the old way of doing it when we started
Mm.
it initially.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah. But at the
yeah,
same time, like that is the way we communicate. You know, we do not listen to everything that a person is saying to us.
right.
And I mean, if people pick up 1/3 of what you're telling them sometimes, I mean, just
Yeah,
sort of saying like I was waiting for the bus and a pigeon landed and I lost my watch and then I found it. And, people don't remember. Like the number of times I would have to ask people I know, I might say, Duncan, what's this again? When did you get your degree? Even though you've
yeah,
told
yeah, yeah,
me
yeah,
20
yeah,
times
yeah.
already.
Right,
It's,
right.
uh,
I spent 3 years in Japan on this exact subject.
yeah.
That what happens when people talk to each other and what happens when people talk in groups. I spent 3 years in Japan working with Japanese speaking English.
Hmm.
And then um, and then I had my Japanese wife of 37 years. So, which even complicates things more.
Hmm.
And so I'm very aware of the fact, although I forget it frequently, that people talking to each other or reading something, it's very easy to overlook, to mistranslate.
Yeah, yeah.
What is the meaning? To take a simple example, if I say the word red, I guarantee you everybody's got a different red that pops up in their mind.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's a very physical thing. So when you get into the abstract words, oh boy.
I remember I was learning because I had to be trained in how to do presentations, financial presentations in the outfit I worked in. And I mean, we were told if you can get people to remember 3 things you've said, you've done very well. So the
Mhm.
guy who goes out and he gives an absolute perfect technical exposition of something, people can't even remember what he was talking about a week later. And if you tell people, the answer is yes, the rate is 10% and the money is 4 million, they cannot remember a fourth fact. If
Mhm.
you say, and we'll pay it in September, the next time you meet them, they'd say, when you never told us when the fourth fact will come out, and you tell them what you're going to tell them, you tell them it, and then you tell them what you told them, but 3 facts only. And I remember when you were doing these courses, and you'd be stopped by the trainer. You've gone over your 3 facts, so you have
Mhm.
3 facts and lots of coloring.
Mhm.
You're allowed as much coloring as you want. 3 times 3 facts. And I use that to teach people. So if you're taking people through Ulysses for the first time, if you stopped and did what we've just done, you would be the only person visible on your screen. By
Yeah.
God.
Mhm.
You have
Yeah.
to, yeah, and if Ulysses, you have to get pace with beginners. They
Right.
have to see something. And when you come to Calypso, they have to give them 3 things at the end. So, and if they get 3 things, they feel great. I'm reading Ulysses. I'm making great progress. But then if you've got a bunch of old India hands who've been read it 50 or 60 times, you really have to prepare something new for them, or they, or they won't. They say, it's okay, but kind of, yeah, all right. It's always nice to read again because you get command of the text. But if you want to give a feeling of a really good reading, people must get new stuff every time, but never more than 3.
Never more, or
Well,
never be
that's
expected to.
fascinating what I got out of that, and we all got out of that tonight, right at the very end.
But Joe,
Mm.
thank you for going back there because we nearly missed it.
Yeah.
There you go. But
Mm.
I just think it's very good that, like here's Joyce trying to get the word in past the, the League of Decency and all the other people who'll be bringing court cases for expensive lawyers.
I hope to see you all next week.
Absolutely.
Yes, well, thank you very much.
No wonder
Hi, everybody.
no wonder he was laughing all night. Joyce.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
No wonder he was.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks, everybody.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you,
Good
Duncan.
night,
Great.
See you
Duncan. Good
next
night,
time.
everyone.
Well, let's
Bye-bye.
make a decision. Someone tell me where we're starting next time.
Oh.
In
Yes.
Gambler, it looks like we're on page 611, and around line 160, somewhere between 160 and 170. Orla,
Yeah.
where did you finish?
Yeah.
So what
it's
line
very-
is that? Would you
Fine,
read the
strong
actual?
child. He'd have a fine, strong child. That's where we stopped. And it's line 164, 166, maybe?
Yeah, but we haven't.
Yeah. Jesus Jack, the child is black. The last time I was
Yeah.
there, a squad of them falling over one another and bawling, you couldn't hear your ears.
Why not go back to the start of Penelope? Because we haven't discussed it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think so, Joe.
Yeah,
With
let's do
what
that.
modifications did the narrator reply to this interrogation? Is that what you mean?
No.
No.
We're starting,
Yes,
we're
because
starting
he
at
never
the
did a thing like that before.
We never did a thing like that. Let's start
And
with Monty.
I think
Okay,
start there.
Yeah,
someone give
let's
me,
start-
somebody
let's read
give
it
me
again.
the Wordsworth page.
640.
640.
You'll know it because it comes after a big full stop.
Yes.
we're talking about beginning at the beginning of Penelope.
Yeah, starting
Yes.
Penelope.
That's why I keep
Oh,
saying yes.
Oh,
thank
Yay.
you. See,
Yes.
that's nice and clear.
okay.
All right, and so that is going to be on 10,
16?
17,
Okay.
25.
Excellent day.
Okay, beginning of
Yeah.
Penelope. Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Okay.
see you next
you.
Good
time.
night, folks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take it, Trina.
Oh,
Night.
King Lear tomorrow?
Yes,
I'm-
King Lear tomorrow.
I'm not here.
Okay.
I'm not here.
Okay, all right. Well, those we
Good to
shall
see you
see.
too.
We'll see if we have a
Good
quorum when we get
night.
there. Bye.